Okay, so Luke chapter 9, verse 46. Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. Right, he's talking about the disciples. They're trying to figure out amongst themselves who's the top dog over here, you know? The alpha male. All right. In verse 47. And Jesus, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him. So 47. So he knows what's going on before they even say it. He knows what they're thinking in their heart, even. Right? He's perceiving the thought of their heart. So he takes a child and puts him next to him. And then verse 48, and said unto them, whosoever shall receive this child in my name receiveth me. And whosoever shall receive me receiveth him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great. So he's letting them know, why are you worried about the status? Your status and your ranking. That has nothing to do with it. That's not, right? Whoever's the least shall be the great. So you should be wondering who's going to be the least if you want to, right? And then verse 49. And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him, because he followeth not with us. Okay, so now John was to talk about someone else was doing some works, casting out the devil, but he wasn't following them as the disciples. Not just the 12. Remember, he has more than 12 disciples. The 12 he appointed, but there was all sorts of people following him. They were disciples as well. In verse 50, and Jesus said unto him, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. Okay. So Jesus already knew who this guy was, because he said, for he is not against us. So that right there tells you this guy was a believer. He wasn't against them, so he was with them, right? So he said, forbid him not. And then verse 51. And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. All right. So now let's kind of fast forwarding, right? He set his face toward Jerusalem. The time is coming where he's going to be taken up. And verse 52. And sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. Okay. Right, so he's sending the messengers. And then 53. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. Right? All right, so I guess they didn't want to receive him. Okay. All right. In 54. And when his disciples James and John saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? Right. So right. So Elias, that's Elijah. Elijah's the prophet of the Old Testament. He brought fire down from heaven and destroyed some people. Right. So when Jesus sent messengers, into the village of the Samaritans, but they rejected him. Right. They didn't want to receive him. James and John were like, okay, well, we'll take care of them. Should we send fire down and destroy them like Elijah did? Right. In verse 55, but he turned and rebuked them and said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. That's not what it's about. Right? He rebuked them. in verse 56. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. All right, so that's what I'm explaining. So, because they're not quite understanding the mission of salvation, the mission of redemption, to save men's lives. He has to die as the Lamb of God, right? He's not coming for the wrath yet. That's way in the future.